Salutations to all our future judges. In this video, we are going to see Indian Evidence Act 1872. But before going into the video, I'd like to make few requests to our viewers as well as the subscribers. Kindly do not skip the video. Watch the video from the beginning till the end. If you skip in between, you may be missing very crucial information or very crucial aspects which have been explained. Hence, watch from the beginning till the end. And next request is, please do have a notebook and a pen with you, because various questions which have been asked in Evidence Act in various exams would be mentioned or would be stated. And in addition to this, idea would be given as to how questions could be framed in a particular section. It is very important for you. So you all need to make a note of all these aspects. And in addition to this, some additional illustrations would also be given while teaching the act. Hence, you please make a note of all those additional illustrations as well. They would be of absolute help to you in understanding the particular section. And in addition to this, various ways or techniques would be taught which would help you to remember those sections, or to say some memory techniques would be given. This would be really helpful to you in remembering the sections when you go to the exam. I hope this video would be of absolute and great utility to you. Now, let us try to understand section 66, rules as to notice to produce. Secondary evidence can be produced in the court, particularly with respect to section 65A. It can be given provided the party who is in possession or power of the document should be given a notice. There should be a notice given to the party who is holding the document or to his attorney or pleader, saying that please produce the document before the court. If such notice is prescribed by law, if law says you have to produce this kind of notice or give this kind of notice, then you are bound to give it. And if such no notice is prescribed by law, then in that case, whatever the court considers reasonable under the circumstances of case, such notice can be given. In case if the court feels that you can merely orally say to the other party, please bring it to the court. If that is accepted by the court, then that is also fine. However, there are some provisos. In certain cases, such notice need not be given. And when it is, or the other cases where the court thinks fit to dispense with it. One is when the document which they are trying to prove is itself a notice. They are trying to prove a notice itself. Then a notice need not be given for another notice. As simple as that. When from the nature of the case, the adverse party must know that he will be required to produce it. So it is an obvious fact that the opposite party who is holding the document, he knows that he should produce it. Let me try to explain this by way of an example. Imagine there is a case pertaining to the validity of a document, and that document is in the control of the defendant. So defendant knows that the court will ask him to produce this document. So in that case, notice need not be given. When it appears or is proved that the adverse party has obtained possession of the original by fraud or force. Imagine the defendant has come to the house of the plaintiff, used force, and got hold of that original document. In that case, notice need not be given. When the adverse party or his agent has the original in court, imagine the original itself is in the court, then notice need not be given because court is having the possession of the document. When the adverse party or his agent has the original in court. Next, fifth point, when the adverse party or his agent has admitted the loss of the document. So they are coming and saying to the court, the adverse party or his agent is coming and saying to the court that he has lost the document or she has lost the document. In that case, notice need not be given. When the person in possession of the document is out of reach of or not subject to the process of the court. When there is a person who is holding this document who is out of reach, who cannot be reached, or he is not within the process of the court, or he is not subject to the process of the court, in that case, notice need not be given. Now let us move to section 67. Proof of signature and handwriting of person alleged to have signed or written document produced. So imagine a situation where a document is alleged to be signed or to have been written wholly or in part by any person. Let us try to understand this. A document is being challenged, where it is said that person A has signed in this document. So the party who is claiming so should prove to the court that it is his signature, or if you are saying partly or the entire document was written by that person, then the party who is claiming this should prove to the court that it is the handwriting of the person who is claimed to have written the particular document. Now let us move to section 67A, proof as to electronic signature. So if the electronic signature is a secure electronic signature, in that case proof is not required. However, if that electronic signature of any subscriber is alleged to have been affixed to an electronic record, imagine a sign has been extracted and it has been posted in some place or posted in a document, then the fact that such electronic signature is the electronic signature of the subscriber must be proved. So there are situations where they sign it and then they take a photocopy of it, or they cut it and then they paste it somewhere else. It may be authorized, but still it needs to be proved that the particular person whose sign is there has signed it. Let us move to section 68 now. Proof of execution of document required by law to be attested. This particular section is very important section. Many times questions have been asked from this section. So please listen to this attentively. Imagine a situation where the law is stating that a document should be attested. The law states so very specifically. In that case, that document cannot be used as an evidence unless we bring one of the witness to the court to prove its execution, subject to the condition that the witness should be alive and that witness should be subject to the process of the court and he should be capable of giving evidence. These three aspects are very important. However, there is a proviso which is very important in this particular section. If it is a will, witness needs to come to the court to prove its execution. That is compulsory. If it is not a will, not being a will, that is the term which is used here, not being a will, it shall not be necessary to call an attesting witness in proof of the execution of any document not being a will. The other aspect is that it should have got registered under the Indian Registration Act 1908. That is the second aspect. The third aspect is that if the person who is said to have executed it denies, saying that no, I didn't execute this, in that case a witness needs to be called. The person who is attested needs to come to the court and say, yes, it is this person who has executed the document. So in all these cases, witness has to come. If it is a will, witness has to come. If the person who is said to have signed the agreement denies it, then witness has to come. Except in these two situations, if the document is registered under the Indian Registration Act 1908, the witness need not come. Let us move to section 69. Proof where no attesting witness is found. Imagine a situation where a person has been a witness to a particular document and he cannot be found. In that case, what can be done? In that situation, it is obvious that the attesting witness cannot come to the court. So, if the document is purported to have been executed in the United Kingdom, this is very important. They might ask questions with respect to the execution of document in United Kingdom. That could also be a question in the exam. If no such attesting witness can be found, or if the document is purported to have been executed in the United Kingdom, two situations. Witness not found, document is executed in the United Kingdom. In these two situations, it must be proved that the attestation of one attesting witness at least is in handwriting. So simple as that, we should prove that the handwriting is that of the witness and the signature of the person who has executed the document is actually a signature, or it is the handwriting or signature of that person. So simply we need to prove the handwriting of the witness if witness is not available. We need to prove the signature of the person who has executed the document. As simple as that. Section 70. Admission of execution by party to attest a document. If there is a party in a document, he is a party in a document, let us imagine. In that case, that party is coming to the court and accepting that he has executed the document. In that case, his acceptance or his admission that he executed the document is sufficient to prove its execution as against him. That is stated in section 70. Let us move to section 71. Section 71. Proof when attesting witness denies the execution. Now, the court is asking the attesting witness to come before it and give an evidence with respect to the execution of a particular document. In that case, the attesting witness is saying that such a document was never executed, or he does not recollect such a document being executed. So in that case, the execution of the document may be proved with the help of other evidences. Now, let us move to section 72. Proof of document not required by law to be attested. So imagine a document which is attested, but law does not require the document to be attested. So in case that document is brought before the court, it may be proved as if it was unattested. Let us move to section 73. Comparison of signature, writing or seal with others admitted or proved. Imagine a situation where a person has put a signature in some other document prior to the document which is in dispute in a case, or he has written something, or he has affixed some seal. So now the court can compare the previous signature, writing or seal which was admitted or which was proved to the satisfaction of the court with the present signature, writing or seal. The court can compare both of them. That is permitted. However, if court requires, it can direct any person present in the court to write any words or figures for the purpose of enabling the court to compare the words or figures. So imagine the court is trying to find out who wrote this or to compare a handwriting. Then it can ask the person present in the court to write and show. Then that can be compared with the document. And this section applies also with any necessary modifications to finger impressions. So please understand, this section also applies to finger impressions. A person may be asked to give finger impressions. This finger impression can be compared with the earlier finger impression. Section 73A. Proof as to the verification of digital signature. So, in order to ascertain whether a digital signature is that of the person by whom it purports to have been affixed. So, there is a digital signature. Court wants to know whether it was the same person who has affixed that digital signature. To identify this or to ascertain this, what the court can do is, it can ask that person who has signed it or the controller or the certifying authority. They can ask them to produce the digital signature certificate. B. So, if there is a public key which is given in the digital signature certificate, the court may ask one person to come and apply this public key and verify the digital signature which has been affixed by that person. They are given an explanation. For the purposes of this section, controller means the controller appointed under subsection 1 of section 17 of the Information Technology Act 2000. So please remember the section 17 subclause 1 of Information Technology Act. Controller is defined in this particular section. I hope you would have liked the video. If you like the video, please do press the thumbs up button and do share the video with your friends and motivate them. If you are not subscribed the channel, please do subscribe the channel and share the channel with your friends. If you feel that I've left something in this video, or you want me to change the way in explanations are given for the sections, please do let me know by way of comments. Let us join hands together and contribute for a learned society. Thank you.